Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I'd show you an update on this Kriel Space Station and then a new SV that I kind of built the chassis to already. To start with, on the space station, I got some work done to it, not quite as much as I was hoping to get done, but I sort of split my time up between two projects again. The other project's a lot smaller though, so it should be fairly quick in comparison. So in this one, I basically been working on this top hallway and this little center section with my little time lighting thing, and trying to plan out some future POI stuff like this weird doorway mechanism over here. Let me hit a P menu control here a minute. And this is kind of like something that might open up as you're running through the POI after you hit a certain area or hit a switch or who knows what. Accomplish some task in the station, and then this will open up. And this is kind of like a gated entry, and then it would allow you to get to like another place inside the station. I don't want this. I don't want it like a confusing thing. So I'm trying to keep things straightforward, and this might coincide with alternative lighting, like maybe I shut off a light or change the light color by adding in a secondary light in the section, and try to guide people on how to get through this. But again, I don't really want it to be some kind of crazy maze, but I did want some sneaky stuff in it. This might potentially go somewhere over here, or potentially go into a like a duct system or something like that. It's hard to say. All depends when I get to that point. So beyond that area there, I kind of worked on the hangar section more. Obviously not those side rooms, but got a lot of the ceiling done up better in here. Nothing is final right now, so I'm still working out textures and things like that. On the hangar floor, I started to put in some concrete blocks. That's what this dark ceramic tile is, and this walk path texture over here. I'm trying to like figure out exactly how I want to do the flooring. It's important. I want the flooring to look good, and there's a lot of areas where it's really generic, and there's not many textures, at least without going into like concrete or other materials to pick from that work at all. And I didn't want to repeat the same like flooring texture patterns that I did on other factions, like the humans or whatnot. So this is what I came up with so far. Now on layout of this, I do believe I finalized a at least made a choice. I believe the farm section is going to be here, and this is wonderful because a lot of these blocks are just filler blocks to cover up the ceiling below. So these could actually be replaced with grow plots or filler grow plots, which would probably be actually what ends up being their stock. And it's really close to the crafting area, so I'll try to make it so you can get there very quickly from down here. One last thing, I did make mention, I got these side doors that will get you out of the base over here to the crafting area. I haven't done that either yet, but I said something like I'm going to try to snake it down to the module base so it's quick, and I got to retract that. That's impossible. I didn't even think before I said that. I look outside, I'm like, how in the heck am I going to get this hallway to down over to this building? It's like a separate building. So it's like, yeah, the only side effect to the way the Helios module bays are set up is from the crafting area. If you want to go there, the most direct route would be right around either corner here to the elevator, go to the bottom of the elevator. There'll be a hallway that kind of wraps around here and then goes to the module bay. So it is a bit of a trot from your main section where I would expect people to be hanging out at most down to the module bays, but I can't really do anything about that. It's just the way this thing was designed out there with the module bays. They're not directly connected right as part of the hull of the station. They're like a separate attached building, more or less. So all right, well, anyway, enough with that. Let's show you the other thing. I'm going to adjust the lighting here in a minute. Oop, if I hit the right button. Let's get you bright, and let's turn off that fog. All right. So on SVs, this is something I did make mention of, too. I wanted to make an SV for Excalibur's challenge in the combat role, and that's what the challenge is about. And I ended up with this guy over here. And I was really torn on what I should do for an SV for a while, and I was getting kind of annoyed actually with it. And I had a little conversation with another author, and it's just like, I don't know what I was thinking. Basically, my first thought was to build like the Phalanx Siege Tank SV version, like, some crazy flying quantum core sucking super amounts of turret gunship thing. And then I was like, man, I don't really want to do that. Then I was looking at some past SVs. And let me just take this one down over to my little work area down over here. My work area. Listen to me, out in the middle of the desert. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here. So I was looking at some past SV builds, like this Skarglaive, and this was kind of like the flying tank SV. And there are certain things that do still annoy me with SVs. One of those has to do with, like this one here. I used a prefab cockpit, and I put it all the way in the back of the creation, which it's a strange look. I mean, no doubt this looks weird. You don't typically see aircraft like this at all, or even in sci-fi movies. But this was all about trying to be really functional in game and be like a tank. So the whole front of this can just get pulverized, and you're flying the thing back over here, and you're pretty safe because your cockpit's way back here. It's on like the other side of the thing that shouldn't be shot at much. But I didn't want to do that. I really kind of wanted to make an SV that I thought looked like a sci-fi fighter. I wasn't. So I was like, man, I didn't want to use a prefab cockpit. And here's something that really annoys me. Like this, for an armored cockpit of the prefabs, this is I think the lowest hit point one at 1110 hit points, and they do go up to 1800 hit points. And then you go over here and you take a look at what armored glass is. It's 100 hit points. Oh my god. That is like a huge discrepancy. So it's like, to be honest, you'd be far better off using a prefab cockpit. There's no glass concoction you can make that would even come close to that in the survivability or the amount of hit points it has. And that's frustrating because I didn't want to use a glass cockpit. I kind of liked, these... I didn't want to use a prefab cockpit. I kind of liked, like how this was done over here, and I liked the feel from inside. When you get out of the seat, you can walk back into the craft. It feels kind of a little bit more realistic and things like that. And I didn't really want to do this on newer creation. And then I was talking to a buddy, and it's like, why don't you just depend on the shield more and just build kind of an SV that you'd want to build, instead of some crazy experimental bathtub-like concoction like this. And then I got a lot happier, and then this ship flowed pretty good. So this is currently in hardened steel. It is a very low-profile ship, even compared to like the MX9 here. You can see that this is a lot pudgier. This one, I purposely wanted it to be, I don't know, more look quick. Almost more like a strategic little fighter bomber kind of thing. I just a smaller ship. And actually, what's kind of neat about it is spec-wise, I believe it'll fall right in between like the MX5 and MX9. So I believe this one will be a MX7 when it's done. So I'll probably throw this back to the human faction. I did want to do some things for the Imperial faction. In fact, every single faction I've got, maybe besides the humans, could certainly stand some SVs. Now, Scar's okay, but I haven't done really any good SVs or anything decent for the MCR in a very long time, and I haven't done any Imperial SVs, but I think I'd be happiest with this if it was just a Merc. So on its setup here, let me get it off the ground here a minute. It's pretty thrusty. It is currently built of hardened steel. It's not real thick, and this is not a real tough creation. And obviously, if you look at the glass on the front of it, you'd be like, and it's pretty close to the front of the ship. It's not that tough. So I might even take it down to steel hull. I don't know yet. It moves pretty good with hardened steel, but there's one direction that it can't hit max speeds at. If I fly this around a bit here, forward obviously no problem at all. Strafing it can only do currently about 60. And obviously it would slow down once the interior is in place and the storage is in place and stuff like that. So if it was steel, it could probably hit higher speeds on the strafing. But forward, backwards is 70, up, down are 70. Actually, no, down is only 32. Well, I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. I'm just not sure why down is only 32. It doesn't make any sense to me. Now up, it must be a gravity thing. That makes no sense because strafing, it hits 60 and it's got more down thrust than it does strafing thrust. So yeah, it's got two big or two 2x2x5 down thrusters on here. So I was really surprised to see it only descend at 30, and then it would only go up at 60 despite having 4 of these thrusters there. It should. I mean, this is almost 4 times that of what the strafing thrust is on here. Well, strafing has one of the bigger ones and 3 of these 1x3s on the sides. So armament on here isn't too special. It's got basically 4 launcher positions per side, and then it has 4 turrets. So let me get the turrets out here. So right now it won't come with 6 rocket launchers. I would love to, but I'll try to keep this compliant with stock weapon limits, so there's no discrepancy there. If I run 6, that's 2 more than what is allowed. So it'll probably have either nothing in these positions, and you put in whatever weapons you want. That would keep the price down even more when you first get it. The turrets, I'll probably have to keep the turrets in place though, because I decided to run retractables on it, and that is basically, I just saw in this design especially because it's trying to be all like low profile and like trying to look quick. That retractable turrets I think would make it look a little bit faster. So it just kind of blends in with the body. It makes the body a little bit smoother. Again, with most of this I was trying to go with that aerodynamic feel. I've got these little flare-ups right here that, you know, I could replace this block and get rid of that. I'm just it might look neat if I texture it right there. So that's one of those things. And the bottom side I like for the most part too. It's pretty straightforward, and it's just kind of a lightweight design. It really is. It's thinner. It's despite being like, it looks from the top view like it could be a little bit bigger than the MX9, but it's really not, and it's actually quite a bit cheaper. It uses a lot less blocks than the MX9. So anyway, I just wanted to show you those 2 things, and this one I'll try to get done fairly quickly. I mean, I've got probably about 3 to 4 more hours left on the build to hopefully get it all textured up. And I say that, but a lot of times things go longer than that. But we'll see how it goes. It should have a shield and a warp core as well. So yeah, as in storage and stuff. I don't know, you know, it's going to need some amount of ammo storage, probably not a huge amount, but I would like to get the ammo storage at least up into about the 8K range, and then maybe throw in, you know, some kind of storage system in here too. It's got enough lift thrust to move some cargo around, but it's like a fighter bomber. In fact, you know, if since I didn't want to, you know, make this specifically for Reforged Eden, I won't put on bomber or bomb pieces, but that's actually kind of primarily what I was thinking that this thing would do, is have maybe you can only run 2 bomb launchers on a creation, so that would work out pretty good if it did have 2 bomb launchers. And you would have the 4 rocket launchers, the 2 miniguns, which are wonderful for shooting down like an occasional drone or a sentry gun or something on a POI. and then rockets for shooting out turrets, and bombs for bombing POIs. And then you've got the 4 other turrets, which are just kind of general purpose to I don't know, shoot guys on the ground or flying drones in the area, stuff like that. Maybe a little bit of the POI stuff too. Who knows? But yeah, hopefully it comes out good. And that is about all I've got for today. I didn't get again, sorry, I didn't get as much done on the space station as I would have wanted to, but I kind of split my time up. I knew this project was coming up, and I knew I had to do something about that sometime soon, and I figured I'd just get going on it. And last, before I end the video too, I'm just curious on your thoughts, like this dilemma I've got with cockpits on SVs. Especially because there's a armored version available on SVs, and then the discrepancy between hardened glass or the best glass you can use, the hit point discrepancy is extreme, like extreme. And I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts on that. Am I thinking alone here on this? That the hit points of the glass for SVs is way too weak in comparison to a regular prefab cockpit. Because I don't like that fact much at all. It's like I like the idea when you get in a seat, like this, that when you get out of the seat, you're still inside the ship. You're not like kicked out of the top of it like you would be on this one, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. That's why sometimes in some of these cases I put like a drone hatch like right in front of it. So if you fly the ship and you want to get out of this ship, you end up over here. But if you wanted to be back inside, then you can like jump back through the door. But to me, it's just like there needs to be an option, maybe a parameter or something you set when you place one of these, like a little P menu option or something on it, where you could say exit to what direction. Exit. In this case, I'd point it down. Exit down, instead of exit up, and then hopefully you'd be back inside the ship, and there would be no problem. That could be a nice solution for it, but how it works now, anything that uses a prefab cockpit, there's no way back inside if there is an inside to that creation. And so when you go the other way to try to make a little more immersive ship, you're super penalized by the amount of hit points that glass has, and you cannot make a cockpit anywhere near the strength of a prefab. So you're kind of messed up on both sides of it. And also visibility too. Having a cockpit up front like this isn't the smartest thing to do, for combat effectiveness and stuff like that, because it's vulnerable. It's now I didn't put any guns in this vicinity, and I hope that helps, because the AI hopefully won't try to target this cockpit. But it's, at the end of the day, it's going to be largely dependent on its shield. If you're engaged in a POI, your shield's down, and there's a lot of things shooting at you at once, it's not a real good scenario. It's not the kind of scenario that you'd want to be in a ship like this. This would be more of like a fast, like you run in, you do a run, and you get out of the area, you come back, you do another run, that kind of thing. It's not like set up where this one was. Basically, the intent was to fly up to a POI and fight it like you were in an HV tank. Wiggle around a little bit, shoot at the turrets, and sit there and take it. Just take whatever's getting shot at you. And when you're flying the SV around too, often there's clusters of POIs on the ground, and there's ground troops, and there's little mechs running around, and there's rocket guys, and there's all kinds of stuff you can't even see that's just shooting at you from every angle. So you just cannot avoid the damage. So like this ship would be meant to fly in fast, especially if you equip bombers, on it with Reforged Eden. Flying fast, drop some bombs, have the turrets maybe shoot some of the ground guys as you're going through, use some launchers to maybe shoot out a turret position. Once your shield gets weak, take off, let your shield recharge, come back, do another round on it, kind of situation. But hopefully it works. And then, yeah, and then this thing over here, I ended this right away. I was like, yeah, look at this 1,600 hit points, and I just do this, and I build this tall thing. And I already didn't like what I was building here. I was just like, man, I got like this many blocks in, and I'm like, nah, that's not what I want to build. not in the mood for that. So anyway, that's all I've got for today, and you guys have yourself a wonderful afternoon, and I will be doing another look at the workshop tomorrow. Yeah, there's a lot to look at too. I got to say that. All right. Well, anyway, y'all have yourself a good day. I'll talk to you later.